The first statement I would wish to make is one with respect to the 2018 St. Kitts Music Festival. And Mr. Speaker, if I am to go by the word on the street, I have to say in this Parliament that the 2018 St. Kitts Music Festival was a complete success. I'm certain, Mr. Speaker, you would have been there at least one night, and you would have recognized that the venue, the Warner Park, was packed every single night. And I want to give, first of all, kudos to the leadership of the St. Kitts Music Festival under the chairman and the executive committee headed by Damien Hobson for what I would consider to be one of the most well-run music festivals over the 22 years of the history of that festival, Mr. Speaker. We had decided earlier o'clock that the festival would start on a time, 8 o'clock. And we were gearing up to end the festival nightly between 1 and 2 a.m. at the very latest. And we were doing that, Mr. Speaker, because we wanted to ensure that not only did the patrons enjoy the St. Kitts Music Festival at the venue, but they had time after every night of the festival to determine whether or not they wanted to go home and sleep, or they wanted to go on the strip, or they wanted to go at any other bar, to make sure that the trickle-down effect of the St. Kitts Music Festival was not only felt within the festival itself, but beyond the walls of the festival. And I think, Mr. Speaker, we achieved that. I want to also congratulate Ambassador Jonelle Powell, who headed up the selection committee, because I believe that we had a stellar lineup, and that resulted in partly in the success that we had at the 2018 St. Kitts Music Festival. I would also like to say that it was historic. Historic in the sense that for the first time since we've been running this program, we wanted to have the funds at our disposal very early o'clock to be able to procure a lineup that at the end of the day was satisfactory to the majority of persons in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I must say, in November of 2017, we were able to reveal the names of 3 major acts when we launched the first lineup in November of 2017. Because we had launched Patti LaBelle at that time, we had launched Lauryn Hill, and we had launched Spice in the first lineup. And really and truly, Mr. Speaker, this was a deliberate attempt and action to really to give the St. Kitts Tourism Authority time to really truly market the event effectively for the various international source markets that we were trying to reach out to. And I believe that the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, they embarked on an extensive marketing strategy to promote the festival, Mr. Speaker. In fact, our digital advertising and footprint, both on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube, reached more than 20 million persons. I want to say that again. 20 million persons were touched by our marketing strategy on the platforms of Google, YouTube, and Facebook. Approximately 8 million of those 20 million that we reached sent posts. So it was a very far-reaching, interactive base that we touched and we reached. In fact, we also reached out in our marketing strategy to in-flight videos on the American Airlines. We went to print media, including magazines and newspapers overseas. We went and did marketing to various movie houses across the region. We went on regional radio and television stations and news websites. So an extensive marketing strategy was implemented. And all thanks and kudos to the cabinet at large and the Prime Minister as the Minister of Finance for giving us the funding very early o'clock so that we could achieve the objective that we wanted to achieve. Our marketing plan, Mr. Speaker, worked well. And we saw that because our major hotels were full. We had the St. Kitts Marriott Resort full to capacity. Can't get a room over Marriott during the St. Kitts Music Festival. The Royal St. Kitts Hotel, full to capacity. The OTI, Timothy Beach, Sugar Bay Club, all those hotel establishments were full. SCASPO has advised that the number of planes bringing visitors to St. Kitts grew from 599 in May to 667 in June, due in part to the additional Wednesday flight out of Miami and the additional Saturday flight out of the JFK. Both the Park Hyatt and Kitishan Hill, I am advised, reported increased bookings during the festival period. I want also to say, Mr. Speaker, that from the preliminary reports that I have received, we, for the first time in the history of this festival, we are going to break even. At least break even. Might make a little something, but at least break even. First time in the 22-year history of the festival. And I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, and the House in general, that within the next 90 days, we are going to lay before the Parliament the accounts of the St. Kitts Music Festival within the next 90 days for public scrutiny. So persons can see where this money has been spent. Because you hear all kind of things out there. And that is why I want to go to the next thing now. Because you hate bandied about by, I like what my colleague from number 8, the member from number 8. I almost call my learned friend because sometimes he acts like a QC. But the member from number 8, because he was talking about some wannabes. I don't know who he was talking about. But they have some out there. And this is for them. The total value, the total dollar value of ticket sales for the St. Kitts Music Festival is in the region of $1 million. And that $1 million, Mr. Speaker, equates to some 10,000 tickets sold over the 3 nights, and those are the general tickets. So on average, we had 3,333 general tickets per night sold. In the VVIP, we had 967 tickets per night. And so when you do the calculation, we have in or about the region of 4,600 tickets sold every night at the St. Kitts Music Festival. I must select Express Events, which is a VVIP, sold out every single night. When we look at the complimentary tickets, Mr. Speaker, we gave out over 800 complimentary tickets. But I want to break down that so people understand how these complimentary tickets were executed. We had 5 platinum sponsors: Carib Brewery, Marriott, American Airlines. Those are the platinum sponsors. Each was allocated 30 complimentary tickets, a total of 150 complimentary tickets between the platinum sponsors. We had 5 gold sponsors. Each was allocated 15, so you had 75 between them. And so the sponsors themselves, out of the 800 complimentary tickets we would have given out, the sponsors themselves, because of their financial contribution, the sponsors themselves got over 400 of those tickets. I mean, I need to say, because, sometimes people don't understand. The leader of the opposition, he's not in here this morning, but he get complimentary tickets. Oh yes, I make sure he got complimentary tickets. The leader of the opposition received 4 complimentary tickets, along with 2 VIP tickets. Mark, you say goodbye?
I never used to get thing.
See, Mark never used to get a thing. Leader of the opposition, Mark at the time, never get a thing.
Don't lie here, please. Don't lie here.
Not a diplomatic pass.
No, you ain't got a diplomatic item.
Every year.
That's how they treat the opposition.
Every year.
But this unity government, this is how we treat them. We give the leader of the opposition tickets.
Don't lie.
And the member for Central, banging she mouth, she get 2. She get 2.
I remember.
Banging she mouth and she get.
I remember for number 4. Honorable member for number 4. I'm going to ask you to be careful with your language, terminology.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I think that
this house was quiet until she came.
yes.
And she came, this house was quiet.
Yes, and remember now we are on the statement by ministers. So continue.
The other day, last week I think it was. And that kind of number on the birthday, I think she needs to be put in retirement.
Honorable member. Let's get back on point, please.
Let me get back on point.
Order. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I was saying, but for me, Mr. Speaker, I think one of the most important things is this, Mr. Speaker, that the music festival ended on June the 30th. June the 30th. And on Tuesday, which would have been the 10th of July, 10 days after the last day of the St. Kitts Music Festival, we paid every single vendor who sent in an invoice. Never before, 10 days. Over 250 individuals and small businesses paid 10 days after the St. Kitts Music Festival. Never before.
Including last year, never before.
The total amount paid was in excess of $760.98. 10 days. 10 days. Never been before. And so for the first time, we have been in a position to pay all of the service providers within 10 days. And that is kudos to the leadership of the St. Kitts Music Festival. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that part of the reason for the success has been the fact that the Minister of Finance, and he's here this morning, gave us the monies pretty early in November. And I know I'm going to tell him I want the money now in September. because we want to make sure that the 2019 St. Kitts Music Festival is even better than 2018. And Mr. Speaker, we hired, you see, I'm not even studying why here over there. But I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that we do things in order on this side. And so we want to make sure that the public understands how their funds are being spent. And so we hired a firm called CREST, which is the Center for Responsible Travel, to conduct an economic impact assessment, because we want to find out if it is a benefit to our economy and what is the benefit, so that we can determine as a government whether or not we continue with the St. Kitts Music Festival or we shut it down. And so we are doing this impact study. And when this impact study is finally concluded, we will bring it to the public so the public can appreciate what it is and what the impact is on the St. Kitts Music Festival. And I want to say thanks to the CFBC for their kind assistance in coordinating. They had 18 young persons, both students and lecturers, trained in the conduct of surveys. In all, we had close to 25 persons trained, as we had officers from the Ministry of Tourism and the St. Kitts Tourism Authority as well. And they conducted surveys every night and got close to 300 respondents per night. Plus they worked at White Sands and other venues at the airport, for example. And so we have now close to 30 persons in St. Kitts and Nevis who are now equipped to conduct surveys, a skill that many of these young people, I am almost certain, will use in the not too distant future. Mr. Speaker, the point of the exercise is to capture empirical data on the economic trickle-down of the festival. That is, how much patrons spent at the festival itself, how much was spent on food, rental of accommodations and transportation, how much was spent on tickets, how much they patronized the local establishments such as boutiques, hairdressers, manicure, pedicure, those sorts of things, so we can get a full understanding of the real impact. I also want to say that the ministry is now in possession of 10 tablets which we had to purchase to conduct the survey. And the program that was necessary to do this survey is now installed on these tablets, and so that in the future going forward, we are now able to at least have the opportunity to use those same students to conduct surveys going forward. And Mr. Speaker, that is the first point I want to speak about. The second point, Mr. Speaker, that I wish to speak about is something which, for us in St. Kitts and Nevis, is again historic. Why this unity government is pure history making, pure history. And Mr. Speaker, and the history making comes on Monday. And the history making on Monday, Mr. Speaker, comes in this way. On Monday coming, the Freedom of the Seas would journey to St. Kitts and to Nevis. And it's a ship that carries a capacity somewhere in the region of 4,700 passengers. And the St. Kitts Tourism Authority and the ministry, we are pleased to say that on Monday, when Freedom of the Seas arrives, it will bring with it, for the first time in the history of the cruise industry in St. Kitts and Nevis, 1 million passengers within any given cruise year.
Bigger chief.
And that million passenger will alight from the ship and be greeted by the friendly people in St. Kitts and Nevis. And Mr. Speaker, it is particularly significant that this is taking place with still 2 months left in our cruise year, because the cruise year runs from October to September. So we are calculating this from October 2017 to September of 2018. And Mr. Speaker, you see, this industry is very highly competitive. We're in a competitive marketplace. We have 35 jurisdictions within the FCCA region. And I must say we are holding our own. Because the last Bureau report, which is a report of the 35 jurisdictions under the FCCA, placed us in about, at number 3, I think it was, of 35 jurisdictions. And so we are grateful for that. But reaching the million passenger mark, one, is no small feat, and secondly, it puts us in a different position. It now propels us to what we call marquee status. And a marquee status is those jurisdictions which not only have 1 million and above passengers, but who satisfy the cruise industry with a particular level of efficiency, tours, etc. And so when that Freedom of the Seas docks with 4,375 passengers, 8 o'clock on Monday morning, we are going to welcome that million passenger here. And we have to do it in St. Kitts and Nevis grand style. Grand style. It's a big occasion. It's no small feat. And so we have to have the masquerades down there. We have to have the steel drums down there. We have to have the Maka Jumbo. We have to have everybody down there. We want the whole of St. Kitts and Nevis to come out of the port 8 o'clock Monday morning to see this. We're going to have t-shirts given away because we're very pleased about this. We're also going to have Federico Gonzalez, who is the Associate Vice President of Government Relations for Latin America and the Caribbean for Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited. And it is such a milestone that we are achieving on Monday, that they're going to make sure that one of the top executives of Royal Caribbean comes to St. Kitts to witness this.
You invite former ministers,
The opposition invited. Obviously, you want to come.
you invite the former minister. You're giving us credit already, so, you know. The minister, at least the former minister, has been invited.
Get
I want to say something here, but I don't think it is parliamentary to say it, so I won't.
Get Congress to sing a song.
But yeah, sing a song about the million passenger. So, Mr. Speaker, those are the 2 items I want to really speak about. I know time is going, and we want to get out here as soon as possible. But, Mr. Speaker, without further ado, I commend those two issues to the Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.